All right, my pre-algebra class. Today began the day of the math smackdown. Okay, so I hope you're taking the time to watch this video. I'm doing the problems that we worked with in class. They will be the same problems we work with tomorrow, and on Monday we're going to work with the same type of problems. The smackdown will last the entire week. There is no giving up. There is no I can't do this. Because you all need to work together in order to get 25,000 hearts for your pizza party. I think today, hopefully today was an eye-opener for many of you. All right, here we go. There is 30 questions in your packet. Your job is to complete 10 of them for homework. I am going to do all the even numbers, or at least 15 minutes worth, because I can only record 15 minutes at a time. So I'm going to do 15 minutes worth. That does not mean all your homework problems should be even, okay? Because you can't just copy the ones I do for homework. I do want you to copy them, but all of them will not count towards your 10 problems. You should really have only about 3 of these as even problems, at least up to the number that I get to, okay? So remember that if all your homework are going to be even questions, I'm going to count it wrong. You're going to have to do it anyway. So you need to make sure you do some of these odds. You need to have at least 8 odd problems completed on your own, not the ones we did in class. Yes, I remember the ones we did in class, okay? So now I'm going to start with number 2. I have 18 and a half minutes left, I think, of this video. So I'm going to start with number 2. Number 2 is a funny one. Now, gentlemen, unfortunately, when I was teaching this one, you guys weren't in class because you had basketball game, okay? When I taught this in class with the ladies, I taught them about the junk in a trunk. Here's the thing. Some fractions look kind of weird. You see this funky fraction? It looks different than... Not that. How about that? This fraction. This is a normal fraction. In this problem, remember, add or subtract first, we would get rid of the 9, right? This is not a normal fraction. This fraction has what I like to call junk in the trunk. In other words, there's some weird stuff going on the top, okay? Normal, junk in the trunk. That's how we're going to remember it. Normal, junk in the trunk. When fractions are normal, you would do adding and subtracting first. Take away 9 from both sides, for example, right? That would be a negative 20 equals 10, take away 9 is 1, and then you would multiply out the 20, right? However, fractions with junk in the trunk, it's easier to do multiplying first. What number do I multiply with? I'm glad you asked. We're going to multiply with the 5. Because remember, this is a fraction. And remember, fraction means division. So division means we're going to do the opposite of that, which is multiplying. So we're going to multiply the 5 out. This only works for fractions with junk in a trunk. Okay? So if I multiply the 5 out, I'm multiplying 5 by this side, multiplying 5 by this side. Okay? Remember, what you do to one side of the street, you have to do to the other. Long story short, remember that whole long story short thing? That's going to eventually cancel out. My junk in the trunk is the only thing left on this side. I will bring my equal sign. 4 times 5 is 20. That was step 1 of the equation. Now, remember your job is to get b by itself. I need to remove the negative 8 to get b by itself. So, it's a negative 8. Now I will add to both sides. Because I want that to cancel out, right? A negative 8 and a positive 8 cancels each other's out. So I'm just going to bring down b. Remember, we don't need to put a plus sign in front here. 20 plus 8 is 28. Ding, 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 ding. Now, I'm going to go back and explain this one last time. Why this is not 5 times 5 is 25. Remember, I'm taking a shortcut. My shortcut tells me all this is eventually going to cancel out, just leaving me what's on top for this half, okay? So I'm going to redo this part right here. Watch. I'm going to do the long way of this so you understand why that will cancel out and it's not really 5 times 5. Remember when I said I'm going to multiply out with the 5? And this works for all fractions. This one too. Okay? Multiplying out with the 20. Okay? When I multiply out with the 5, remember, I'm doing this, right? Let me make it a little bit neater. Try to be as neat as I possibly can. This times the 5, okay? And also 5 on this side. Remember what I did was, long story short, going to cancel out? Long story short, going to cancel out. My junk in the trunk will come down. Remember I did that? And of course I have 20 over here. Now I'm going to back it up. I want to be able to explain for the last time the whole long story short thing. Okay? What I'm doing on long story short is this in my head. I'm taking this whole thing and multiplying it by 5. See that? Go back to rules of multiplying fractions. If this is a fraction and this is not, we make it a fraction by simply putting 1 underneath it, don't we? Do you now see how you have 5 times negative 8 plus b over 5? But remember, we like to do this. And this is called the reducing diagonally or diagonally reducing. When we did our multiplying of fractions, I like to do that first. That's not going to reduce. But these will, won't they? 5 will go into itself 1 time. 5 will go into itself 1 time. Now let's multiply. And remember, when we multiply fractions, we multiply straight across. 1 times junk in the trunk is going to give me junk in the trunk, isn't it? 1 times 1 is going to give me 1. But wait! Doesn't this mean, remember 1s are invisible, right? And we'll just take this out, okay? So, oh my gosh, I'm only really left with junk in the trunk. I hope you understood that. 20. Okay? So, back up that train again. Shortcut, so you don't have to do all that work. This is eventually going to cancel out. Bring down your junk in the trunk. See that? I'm saying it's okay for you to do this because I know eventually if you multiply this as a fraction and this as a fraction, it's going to give you this. And of course, finishing it off again, add 8 to both sides. Add 8 to both sides. B equals 28. Moving on. Number 4. Number 4 is a fraction without junk in the trunk. So we proceed as normal. Add or subtract first. Get rid of the number that's not with the letter first. Normal fraction, add or subtract first. Got it? Junk in the trunk, multiply out first. Normal fraction, add or subtract first. So this is a negative 5, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. Bring down my b over 2. That canceled out. 3 plus 5 is 8. Fractions mean division, so I will do the opposite of what I see, which means multiply. Remember the shortcut. That's going to eventually give me v. Multiply the on this side. 8 times 2 is 16. v equals 16. Number 6. This fraction does not have junk in the trunk. So I'll add or subtract like normal. I'm going to move the number that is not next to the letter when I add or subtract. That would be this one. It's a positive 9, so I'll take 9 from both sides. That cancels out. Positive 9 and negative 9 cancels out, leaving us 0. Don't even bring it down. At a over 20. Remember, I don't need to put that plus sign there. I know it's positive. 10 minus 9 is 1. Fraction means divide. Multiply it out. Shortcut. It's going to leave you with a. Multiply 20 on this side. 20. A equals 20. Number 8. No fraction. So do as normal. Add or subtract first. Add or subtract the number that's not next to the letter. That means I'm going to take out the 18. And remember what I do to one side, you got to do to the other. I'm going to bring down my negative 2x. Remember that canceled out. 44 minus 18 will give you 26. A number right next to a letter with nothing in between means multiply. Do the opposite of multiply. Divide. When we multiply or divide, remember, keep the sign that was already there. Adding or subtracting, we switch signs. Multiplying or dividing, keep the same sign on both sides. That's going to leave you 1, basically just x. 2 will go into 26, 12 times. Going to be a negative 12. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. Number 10. No junk in the trunk fraction. Add or subtract first. Add or subtract the number that is not right next to the letter. This cancels out. Leave me 13m. 399 plus 17 gives you 416. That means multiply. Anytime you have a number right next to a letter, it means multiply. So divide. So you got to do the opposite. 13 will go into 13 one time. Ones are invisible. So just bring down your m. Now you have 416 divided by 13. Okay? I know the first thing that you're going to do, or what you're going to want to do, is look at your multiplication table. And you're going to try to go to the 13 column and try to find a 416. And as you can see, your multiplication chart doesn't go that high. This will be the point in class where everyone says, Mrs. Hart, my chart doesn't go that high. People, you got to learn how to divide with long division. Okay? You should know long division. You're 8th graders, so we're going to keep practicing that. So since it's not in your chart, you have to do this. Right? Oh, let me put my work back in so see what I'm doing. Remember, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to do that side work over here. I have 13 goes into 416. This is the reason why multiplication and division like this was on your midterm, to get that practice in. 13 doesn't go into 4, so I like to hold that with a 0. 13 will go into 41. That is in your chart. 13 will go into 41. 52 is too much, so I'll go to 39 3 times. Okay? So your 3 will go here. 13 times 3, we just saw 13 times 3, 13 times 3, 39. So I'm going to minus 39 here. Okay? 41 minus 39. 39, 40, 41. You're going to have 2 left over. Bring down your 6. Now, 13 goes into 26. Look at that. 2 times evenly. Bring my 2 up here. 2 times 13, 26. So my answer is 32. M will equal 32. A positive 32 because a positive divided by a positive is a positive. I'm going to stop this video right here because it's about to run out of time. I'm going to do another video, but it's going to take me a while to do it because I have to go tutor tonight. So I may or may not be able to get another video up, but I will try. Okay? See you on the next one.